Alright, look, I understand most people aren't interested in these videos. I'm not stupid. Most people don't care about my progress of learning to drive, you know. But it's just a video that I make because it helps as a learning process, right? I've always, when I've tried to learn something, be it a video game, be it computing A-level, maths, whatever I've tried to learn, I've always come back and taken a step back and reviewed what I've done, and I've compared it to where I was like a little bit ago. So that's what I'm doing today. I like to just chill back. I've just come in and I like to think, where was I? So I've just completed my first 10 lessons. So a nice round figure of 10. When I first got in the car on lesson 1, I didn't know anything. Literally nothing. I've had no interest in cars. I mean, I like the look of certain cars. You've been driven around by people. Mostly I use public transport. You know, cars have just, like, for example, my mate used to take me home from college, sixth form, and it never interested me that he could drive. So I've only ever learned something if I know I'm going to enjoy doing it. Or going to enjoy getting frustrated, if that makes sense. Enjoy getting frustrated, because with everything that you learn, be it a video game, be it whatever, there's going to be moments where you suck, you realise you suck, the only way to get better is to practice the things you suck at, which makes you feel demoralised because you're constantly doing things you're bad at, right? So that's it, that's the gist of it. So after the first lessons, the first lesson was spent getting to grips with the actual physics and mechanics of a car, meaning here's your mirror, here's your indicator, here's the blah blah blah, this is your clutch, this is your accelerator. Second one, I drove home. Second lesson, I drove home in hailstorm up a hill. I had to do a hill start. You know, there was quite a lot going on in the first lesson. I felt awful. Second and third lesson, it was just re-practicing starting the car, doing the odd gear change, stuff like that. Fourth and fifth was, it's hard to remember what you've been doing. Fourth and fifth, I started to think it was more about positioning yourself on the road, cornering. Seventh and eighth was again practicing the same route. We went in a long country drive because it was snowing. I remember now. There was 2 weeks where it was snowing and it never snows. So it was a good opportunity to drive in ice and get used to like how you need to be slower in certain approaches. And we were doing stuff like, you know, in a one-way pass road where there's only enough for one car. You can only fit one car through, so you have to, you know, be ready to pull in, or if he lets you, be ready to go. Eighth and ninth was I practiced mainly, we introduced mirrors, so he's trying to give me a bit more control of the car, meaning rather than just driving, I'm using the term driving loosely, rather than just driving, I am, you know, when, say there's a parked car here, and you need to move out and then tuck back in, so you look behind yourself in the mirror, you know, because if you need to move out, you don't want to, or you need to brake or something, you don't want to cut the guy up behind you. Then you move out, you check your right hand mirror to see if he's not doing anything silly, and then when you move back in, you check again to see if he's, you know, you're not going to chop him up or something. And that was really overwhelming. Trying to do mirrors whilst doing a long drive, I just struggled with it. It got me really demotivated. I felt like I just couldn't do anything. It felt like I was back to square one, where I need to remember that square one was I couldn't even start a car, right? Where now square one is sort of struggling with ideal clutch control. So today I just had a 1 hour lesson. I explained basically, I had a 1 hour lesson. I set off from my location and we drove to, now there are back end, what's the word I'm looking for? I've just been doing them all day. Junctions. There are like back end junctions, meaning like you'll be in a cul-de-sac or close, and it'll be like a T junction, right? You're like this. If I can get, so you pull out and you need to check left and right before you take the road. There's loads of those, and you can do a circuit, right? A circuit. That's what we were doing, but he didn't do it near my house because I guess he doesn't know the back end roads that well. Because he doesn't actually teach in my area. I just asked him, and he said he would. So he took me to his area, and we did some junctions. You know, it was like slow down. You're doing a corner, so you're in second. Check behind you, tuck in, and then there was some junctions that were slightly downhill, meaning it was like I'd have to brake and then edge out, but instead of like letting my clutch up to peep out, I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be letting my brake on and off because obviously you're down a hill, so naturally you'll roll. That felt better because you're just rolling. You've just got your foot on the clutch all the way down, and you're just rolling. You're stopping. And then when you think it's clear to go, you go. Something I was struggling with was when you're doing that, you need to be turning left. Well, for this specific junction, I was turning left. So whilst I'm edging out and I'm looking left and right, I need to be turning the wheel more. So when I set off, my wheel's already like 3/4, and I can just set off, and then I can straighten. We were doing a circuit, so it was like downhill junction, left turn, and then it was like an uphill junction. And the uphill junction was, again, you had to position your car to the left. But what I was sort of struggling with was normally if you're on a flat road, you sit at the bite and you don't move, and if you let your clutch up a minute amount, you'll roll. If you put it down, you'll stop, and then you peep out like this, right? You're peeping out and you're checking there's nothing coming, let your clutch all the way up and you're going. But I was on a hill. I say hill, but it wasn't, regardless, it wasn't flat, meaning I had to sort of hold it at more revs, or should I say, I don't even know if that's correct, a higher point of the clutch to get it to be still on the road. But I did struggle, so sometimes it would roll back. I'm not saying I rolled back down the hill, but you know, the car would drop back, then I'd have to give it some more gas and a little bit more clutching. I sort of did it, you know, put it this way, right? I didn't roll all the way back down the hill and kill anybody. I did manage to do it and edge out, but it wasn't good. So that's where I'm at now. I'm looking in the mirror a little bit more. I'm getting a bit better at steering and close control, but I'm nowhere near close to passing my test. So I've gone ahead and I've booked another 10 lessons because I'm not going to be passing my test anytime soon. I'm not going to be one of these 5-hour drivers that seem, but I don't believe there are any 5-hour drivers. You can't pass your test in, like they say, some people take 10 to 15 lessons. I don't think you can pass your test in 10 to 15 lessons if you've never ever sat in a car before and you're not getting home help. Like, I'm not insured on my parents' cars or anything, so I can't practice with them. So I'm not getting extra hours out on the road. My dad's never spoke to me about practicing in his car or, you know, anything. My dad used to be a driving instructor, right? So you'd think it would be good for me. Like, my dad used to be a driving instructor for like 20 years. And now that he knows I'm learning and I've told him, he'll chat to me. Sometimes we'll just go out for an hour, and he'll just talk. I'll just ask him questions like, what you're doing now with your clutch, you know, like blah blah blah, what you're looking at when you're using your mirrors, and that's helping a bit. But I don't think you can beat time on the road, so I'm gonna have to get some more lessons. So, you know, if you want to support me, there's 700 of my own money up there. I actually need like 3 or 4 subscribers for Twitch to release another 100 quid. So if you want to support me with your Twitch Prime, then that's like another 5 lessons right there. That's all my self-promotion done. So I just do these videos not to try promote or, you know, get people to buy me driving lessons. I've already, you know, I'm paying them on my own anyway. Just anything that people feel generous enough if they want to throw a Twitch Prime sub for my league videos or whatever, you know. That's that. But the main reason, or the sole reason I do these videos is because if I don't do them, I can't look back. So if I look back at lesson 1 and I listen to what I'm talking about, I'm probably saying I can't even steer or something, you know. So there we go. I'm going to start streaming League now. I might be playing Witcher. I did want to just make a point. I know this is tagged on to the end of the video, so probably not many people are going to hear it. But as people in my Twitch chat are calling it, Bestiality League of Path of Exile, I don't really think I'm going to be playing it. It's not that I dislike the idea of the league or anything. It's just that it's not something that looks so enticing that I want to put off playing League or put off playing single player games. I'm trying to get through a huge backlog of single player games that throughout the years I've never managed to play because I'm always playing Path of Exile. So I think when this League is on, I'm going to be playing through like The Witcher. I've got like the Limbo Inside, bloody Just Cause 1, 2, 3, Call of Pripyat. God, I've got so many games I can't even think to name them that I need to get through, and I think I'm going to do that instead of playing PoE. So that's what's going on, really. Cheers, as always, for tuning in and listening. Thanks very much. I shall catch you guys later.